So did they just confirm the next raid in old school RuneScape? I think they did. So let's listen to what they say here in this video that old school RuneScape just put out.
Exploring the vast array of content found on new and exotic islands,
encountering new characters and cultures,
or one day maybe even taking on an entire raid somewhere out on the ocean.
Did you guys hear that? So, I know we can speculate, right? It said maybe one day, but listen, I think that was a very big hint because they just dropped a lot on the sailing skill, and you kind of sometimes when you watch these videos, you don't want to take everything too crazy, but some things they throw in as just little teasers, and I feel that they could be developing a raid because there's no reason for them to say it like maybe one day, we'll do this. If they're saying that, they're putting something out there. So I feel the next raid could be a sailing raid. You're going out, you have to be a certain level of sailing, get to this island, do this raid, and it's going to be like a sailing themed raid, which I think a lot of people have already talked about, which would be a pretty cool thing. So I'm going to say that pretty much confirms that we are getting a sailing raid. Will it be the next raid? I don't know, but it seems like the sailing skill is shaping up a lot faster than maybe we thought it would. They're talking about a beta in the beginning of next year sometime, the first half of next year, which will be super cool, which will be open to everybody. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the things that they've talked about and how you're going to be gaining XP in this new skill and how everything's going to be working. We're also getting new resources, which I think is very, very important. But let's go ahead and let's discuss some basic stuff. Let's talk about the XP gains and how you're going to be gaining XP. It seems like there's going to be a lot of different ways to gain XP. They're giving you very AFK ways, which is super cool. They even related it to shooting stars, which, as we know, is very, very passive. And this is it's going to be a shipwrecks. Now, shipwrecks is going to be something that it looks like you're going to pull up on a shipwreck, drop your gathering hook, and it just auto gathers for you, which is pretty cool. The XP is slower, passive, but it's there. I think that's great for a skill because I think it's nice to have a way to just chill out and still train something as your AFK. So I think that's great. But also on the other end of that, Barracuda, it was Barracuda something. I forget what they said in the video. But it looks like it's going to be a more high-intense training method, almost like Sepulchre, almost. But you're in a boat. And it's more of a high-intense. The better you get at it, the more XP you get. They say high XP. I'm curious on what the high XP that they're thinking about. But that's also cool too. So and then they have a bunch of training methods in the middle, such as like a task system, almost like a Slayer task, like a Slayer / rumors. It looks like you go get a rumors task, and it's like, hey, go do this. But you're going to have to go to an island and actually defeat some monsters. So that's going to be interesting. We also have new resources. So it looks like we have some new gems. Looks like we have some new ore. And it looks like we have some new logs. Now, I don't know how these resources are going to impact other skills necessarily. Because you would think, if we do have some gems, obviously they're going to be, we're going to be able to craft some things and, smelt some different bars. And because We're going to be having to make different hooks for salvaging to make salvaging better. The logs are going to be used, I'm guessing, for some sort of planks to be able to build your boat better, build different things. That's kind of what it looks like. That's the direction they're heading. So, and it looks like these are only going to be gathered from these rewards. You can get them from rewards. You can get them from salvaging. I'm guessing there's going to be some islands that have these for these hardwoods, these different hardwoods, and on islands that you got to go to, you can only access these through sailing. So I'd imagine these are going to be fairly expensive in the beginning, and then after we go along, they're probably going to drop to maybe a redwood or something like that. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of GP to be made. I think there's a lot of GP to be wasted to gain, to get some of these materials and maybe train the skill a little bit. And it's going to be interesting. The whole sailing with the sails and stuff. They did talk about that. How you're going to be like repairing the sails, cutting the sails, making sure the boat does not stop. I guess they had it originally where if you didn't trim your sails, your boat would stop. Now it doesn't. I think it just like really like slows it down and it doesn't go as fast. So I'm not 100% sure. I would have to rewatch the video. I watched the video through its entirety and kind of just wanted to give you guys some bullet points. And but I did want to bring up the raid, which is fairly interesting because they're talking about there's a lot of different things that they're bringing out. I think the skill is going to be massive. They're talking about like mermaids and things like that, which is pretty interesting. I don't know how much we're going to interact with the mermaids. It sounded like we're going to have the mermaids go out and do tasks for us and gather things for us. That's almost what it sounded like. So maybe you like befriend the mer people and you have them going out and searching for things under the sea for you. And I don't know, it's pretty interesting. They did show some combat that we've already seen before. But they are working on the combat system, so it looks like they already got the navigation system down, which is I don't want to like downplay the navigation system, because once they got the navigation system down, I believe this skill can be done super quickly. Because the navigation system, that is one of the most difficult things, other than the combat, the combat with the boat. But I believe they could probably introduce the skill without the combat, and maybe patch it in somewhere with a, hey, now this is available, type of thing to, keep people intrigued with the skill. But it's pretty crazy. One thing that I did see too, which I thought was pretty amazing. I don't know if you guys caught this or not, but in the video there was actually a part that the sail of the ship was actually a 99 Slayer cape. So I'm like, wait a second, are we gonna be able to actually like put our skill capes and stuff like as a giant sail, like a flex, like, hey, look at this, So I don't know. I think it's pretty exciting. I think there's a lot to do with sailing. What did you guys see that you guys were pretty like, oh, this is going to be amazing? Because I feel there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it, and I haven't watched the hour video yet. This was just the main video that they put out. So maybe I'll watch that one and kind of as I'm getting ready to get back on leagues. I've just been AFKing. I woke up and just getting stuff ready for the day, and I usually put myself in an AFK situation in the beginning of the day. So I thought, what, let's check this out and see what this is about. And hey man, I'm pretty pumped. We got dude, I'm telling you, new raid confirmed. Next raid 4. All right, raid 4 will be a sailing raid. All right, I'm calling it right now. And like always, anything goes good with a Dragon Mid.